Good morning, everybody. Glad to have you here today. Hope you've had a wonderful week, and thank you for taking a few moments this morning. If you want to follow along, we're going to look at the first verse of chapter 2 in the little book of Ruth. And just a real short, again, verse, but there's a good lesson here that we need to be mindful of. And you may not need it today, but file it. It may very well come in handy for you down the road. Verse 1 says, Now Naomi had a relative of her husband's, a worthy man of the clan of Elimelech, whose name was Boaz. I realize when you read that verse, you may at first read it and say, okay, let's get on into the meat of the story. But this verse just reminds us of what we have, what has been underlying all of chapter 1 and will continue at work in this whole little story. And that is, God was at work. May not seem like it at a few places here. When Ruth's husband dies, when they have to leave Moab and go back to Naomi's homeland, when Ruth is out begging for food, when it may not seem like God was paying attention. It may seem like he had taken a day off. But once again, we see here that God was at work there in the little town of Bethlehem, where Naomi's hometown, where Naomi was from. We are now introduced to, I guess you could say, the supporting actor. If one of those award shows, the award for the best supporting actor would go to Boaz. I don't even know if he might be more than a supporting actor, really. He's a pretty main character here. He's the main male in the story. And so here he is introduced to us. And he is, it says here, a wealthy man. Well, this is a worthy man, a wealthy man who was in the family of Elimelech. And later we'll find out in Matthew chapter 1 and verse 5 that he was the son, he was a descendant of Rahab. And so God's been working through some odd situations. Rahab the prostitute from back in the book of Joshua. This is the family that he is from. And so again, so God has been working all along, even when Naomi didn't know, even when Naomi didn't know what was going on. God has been at work getting Boaz where he needed to be, get him in place to be able to step up and to redeem, rescue Ruth. And I just want to leave you with that thought this weekend, that sometimes it seems to us that God isn't paying a lot of attention, that God is not aware of our circumstance, that nobody cares about our situation and our circumstance. But one of the things that we are reminded of throughout the book of Ruth, and this verse just brings it back to the forefront, is that even when we don't see a solution, even when we don't know what the answer is, we have a God who does see and a God who does care and a God who is always working. The Bible tells us he's working out those things for our good. He's working those things out for us. He knows the number of hairs on our head. And so this weekend, don't know what you're facing, don't know what you're up against, but as you go up against it, you remember Ruth and Boaz. And you remember that when Boaz didn't have a clue what was going on, as far as Ruth knew, she might starve to death this week, but yet God had a plan for both of them. Remember that. Wherever you are, God is still on the throne. Have a good one. We'll